What's up, everyone? Welcome back to King Anime Review, and for this video, I'll be reviewing episode 253 of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, titled Conflicting Feelings. Now, the theme of this arc is basically the cycle of hatred, and we did see this theme be tackled in the original Naruto manga, and, in Naruto, specifically Naruto Shippuden, in terms of anime. And, yeah, but the thing is, it seems fresh now, because we did see Naruto think about this and talk about this whole concept and try to bring it into it, try to put it into it in Naruto. But we didn't see Boruto deal with this topic yet. We didn't see Boruto deal with this theme. But the thing is, the reason why this is fresh is not just because, Boruto obviously is a different character from Naruto, and we never seen Boruto deal with it. We seen Naruto, deal with it. We never seen Boruto deal with it. But another thing that's making this pretty fresh is because basically what Naruto did to, when he was confronted with this whole, cycle of hatred thing, his solution was he basically said he's going to find, a solution for it. He basically said, if there is such a thing as peace in this world, I'm going to find it. And what he was telling Sasuke and stuff like that, when they had their final battle, was he was basically telling Sasuke that he wants to basically communicate with everyone. And that's how he plans on bringing about peace, by communicating with everybody and, talking things out. But Naruto, he ended up, convincing the other, well, basically, their alliance was built through the war. But anyways, Naruto, his plan ended up being somewhat successful. He did, maintain peace with the other 5 great ninja nations. Not with everyone on the planet, though, obviously. But in terms of maintaining peace with the 5 great ninja nations, Naruto was successful in doing that. And so his whole plan of negotiation and stuff, that did work out. Now, in this episode, Boruto is planning, he's confronted with this whole theme of the cycle of hatred. He was confronted with that throughout this arc. He realized that whole cycle of hatred thing, just like Naruto did back in Shippuden. Now, Boruto, he kind of has like a similar solution, basically the same solution, and that's he wants to negotiate. He wants to talk things out. And the thing is, though, while we seen that Naruto is pretty much successful in talking things out, Boruto is not successful in talking things out. He tried to talk to the Mizukage, Chodro. Chodro gives him time to talk to Ikada, and it's not successful. That's the thing. That's another thing that's making this fresh. Not just because we're seeing Boruto deal with this problem, who's a separate character from Naruto. Not only, is that fresh, but also it's even more fresh in the sense that Boruto, he tries to work things out the same way Naruto did, but he fails. And now we have to see what he's going to do now that he failed. Because Sergeant Mitsuki basically told him in this episode that, yeah, Boruto, you're not getting through to him. And they, it was basically revealed that he failed. So Boruto, and also Chodro asked Boruto in the previous episode, I believe he asked him, so what are you going to do if he asked him something along the lines of, what are you going to do if things don't work out, if you don't get through to Ikada, if the talk don't work out or whatever. And Boruto said something along the lines of, oh, I'll cross that bridge when I get there, type of thing. So he didn't even have a backup plan. But Ikada did present him with a, he did present him with like ultimatum at the end of the episode, basically, where he basically said, okay, you can bring me Chodro's head, and then I might consider, stopping or whatever. So, but then Boruto decides to basically, instead of doing that, he says, how about I'll give you my life, basically. Now, I did kind of jump to the end of the episode, but I'll basically recap what happened in the episode. But overall, this theme I'm liking the way this theme is going down, and I like how it's showing us, basically, because we didn't see, like I said, he was kind of successful with his plan, but we didn't see him have to resort to something else because his plan was basically successful. We're seeing Boruto have to resort to something else, seemingly. Now, I don't think, obviously, I highly doubt Boruto's going to die. I mean, obviously, he's not going to die. I mean, he's definitely not going to die in this arc, obviously. Or at least I think it's pretty obvious that he's not going to die. Maybe something's going to happen where he does end up convincing Ikada and stuff like that what Ikada is doing is wrong and stuff like that. Maybe Ikada might sympathize with him, or maybe Ikada might understand what he's been talking about. Now, Ikada, he did have a misconception in this episode when he was talking to Boruto about how Boruto, killed his brother, sister, and Fumauchi, which is actually wrong. Boruto, he didn't even kill any of them. But Ikada was referring to Boruto's group. He said, you guys killed, he said you guys did kill Isuri. I mean, he basically said you guys killed my big brother, my big sister, and Fumauchi. Now, he's actually wrong if he's referring to Isuri, because Ishiri was actually killed by Arumi, the father. He was killed by Ikada's father and Ikada and Ishiri's father, Arumi. That's who killed Ishiri, as what, we seen that was revealed in the last episode. So I think once Ikada finds that out, that might be the catalyst for him to start to change his ways and maybe to start seeing what Boruto was talking about. And maybe that might lead Ikada to basically turning on his father once he finds out that Ishiri was actually killed by Arumi. His big brother was actually killed by Arumi. Now, I highly doubt that was referring to Tenma, because Tenma's not related to Ishiri by blood. I mean, he's not related to Ikada by blood. So I highly doubt he's referring to Tenma, but I guess he could have been referring to Tenma. I doubt it, though. But anyway, so, yeah, let me just, recap the arc, going in chronologically. Let me just recap the arc. So the episode started off, I mean, not the arc, the episode. So the episode started off with basically members of the Funato clan saw that it was a ship approaching them, and Ikada basically saw that it was Boruto, Sarda, and Mitsuki, and they said, should we attack or whatever? And Ikada said, no, he'll handle it. So then Boruto, he basically tells Ikada that, hey, I got this ship from Kajiki, and, he starts talking about Kajiki a little bit, and then Ikada said, oh, yeah, basically he said something about, like, he basically said, oh, yeah, he kind of recognized the ship or whatever. And then Ikada, he attacks the ship, like, he basically destroys the ship, and he attacks Boruto, Sarda, and Mitsuki. And it seemed like he used a telepathic, it seemed like he used a, he seemed like he was controlling water with his brain, seemingly. So he was seemingly using, like, telekinesis with water, like he was kind of controlling water with telekinesis. So, yeah, that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. But the thing is, the interesting thing about the Funato clan is, like, they talk about the blood of the Funato clan and stuff like that, and how they're a strong clan, but we haven't, their powers, whatever makes them special haven't really been fully, explained. We know that they get gills and stuff like that, and that's how they awaken their powers. But what is their powers? That hasn't been fully explained. We haven't seen them. They haven't explained anything about a Kekkei Genkai or anything. I think in the first episode they did explain something about water though. So I might have to go back and rewatch it. I think it might have something to do with them absorbing water, because it does have something to do with them, I think, absorbing water, because I think that's why Arumi was in a, special, like, type of thing where he was in prison, and they didn't let him get access to water or something like that. But anyway, so Ikada, he does that, and then basically Boruto, Sarda, and Mitsuki, they end up getting onto the warship that Ikada was on, and then they have a long talk with Ikada, a very long talk, and they basically talk about, Ikada basically, basically also Chojuro was kind of listening in on his talk, and also later on in the episode, it was basically Metal Lee was talking about how basically the people who had the ships or whatever was telling them, the shipbuilders or whatever, whoever they was talking to, was basically telling them that Boruto basically went to, like, he was on the Funato clan warship. So it seems like this whole conversation is being, like, broadcast somewhere. Maybe it's, I don't know if it's being necessarily, I don't think it's being recorded via video, but maybe Boruto has some type of, some type of microphone or whatever that's allowing the audio to get back to Chojuro, and so basically everybody, it seemed like a lot of people was listening in on the conversation. But anyway, so they start talking. Ikada asks basically what do they want from him, and yeah, Boruto basically says, he basically tells Ikada that he wants him to stop the war. He tells Ikada that, he talked to Chojuro, the Mizukage, and basically the Mizukage said that he would withdraw his troops if the Funato clan withdrew their troops, pretty much. And Ikada basically says Ikada basically doesn't believe them, and Arumi also doesn't believe them. And he said, why would we they were basically questioning, like, or they would basically question, like, do you really think that we're going to take his word for it, take Chojuro's word for it or whatever? And so, yeah, they start talking about that stuff. And Boruto asks Ikada, what does he plan on doing? How does he basically, how long does he plan on continuing the war or something like that? Ikada said the war will continue until one side loses. And so So yeah, they talk about that for a little while. Then Boruto brings up Ikada's goal, and well, his previous goal about him building ships and him wanting to build a ship and help people and travel across the seas and connect the different islands with the ship and bring resources to people and stuff like that. And yeah, so they talk about that a little bit, and then Ikeda says that was just a fairy tale distraction. It wasn't really his real dream. It was just a fairy tale distraction, distracting him from his weakness, and that's pretty much what Ikeda was saying. But he said once Siren died, he was reborn pretty much. So that's pretty much what Ikeda was saying. Like once Boruto and the others killed Siren, he was reborn. And by the way, Boruto, I think I said this earlier, but Boruto didn't necessarily kill Siren or Fumaushi. Fumaushi was killed by Buntan, but Boruto did help out in the battle, so he did kind of take responsibility for it. He said we because he was a part of that. He said we defeated Fumaushi. So yeah, Boruto did take part in the battle in which led to Fumaushi's death. However, the one who actually killed him was Buntan, and the one who killed Siren, Siren, yeah, well, Kagura was basically the one who kind of killed Siren, but she ended up dying like a little while after her injuries, like a little while after the battle. She didn't die right away, basically. And as far as we already know, Isuri was killed by Arumi, and Tenma was pretty much killed by Chodro and the others, the Hidden Mist Village Shinobi. Anyways, so yeah, they talk about that stuff. And also, we seen that the mobile fortress was seemingly fully repaired, and they were charging up the chakra cannon and trying to aim it at the Shinomi 1. They were trying to destroy the Shinomi 1, but so they were basically getting the chakra cannon prepared, and basically Arumi basically said he'll leave Boruto to Ikeda, and he went to go and he went to the mobile fortress to get that ready to get the chakra cannon ready on that, so it can so they can destroy the mobile fortress. I mean, not the mobile fortress, the mobile fortress with the chakra cannon. They were trying to use it to destroy the Shinomi 1. So yeah, that's what happened with that. The conversation between Boruto and Ikeda continued. They had a real long talk. They started to talk about the cycle of hatred. Boruto basically said when Ikeda started talking about Siren, Boruto basically said, "Yeah, I understand, your feelings and stuff like that." Ikeda was basically like, "How can you understand or whatever?" Then Ikeda started punching Boruto, and then Sarda actually started talking to Ikeda, and she was basically able to, I think she was able to articulate Boruto's feelings a lot better than Boruto himself, because she started talking about the cycle of hatred, and she said that they lost people important to them as well, and that's how they can understand. They can understand how Ikeda feels about losing his sister, because they lost important people to them as well in that war. In the war that's going on, they lost people important to them as well, so they can understand how Ikeda feels about wanting to avenge his sister. But they also, and then Boruto started talking about, the cycle of hatred, and I believe his name was Kabuna, Fumauchi's son. Ikeda brought him out, and basically Boruto said, "Yeah, we took down your father because he took down, he killed someone important to us. He killed Kagura." So yeah, Boruto said, "Yeah, we brought down your father. We defeated your father because he killed Kagura." And then Boruto said, but he realized that, it's not gonna, he realized that it's just the cycle of hatred is just gonna continue if they, continue. He basically realized the cycle. He basically he was telling them that he realized the cycle of hatred would continue if they didn't stop it. So he wanted to be the one. He wanted to stop it. And what Boruto is saying is absolutely correct. Two wrongs don't make a right. That's a saying. I'm pretty sure you guys heard that saying in the past. But two wrongs don't make a right. If somebody takes something from you or does something bad to you, you doing that bad thing to them is not gonna, make things right. It's not gonna rectify the situation. It's not like it's not gonna bring back their loved ones. For example, Boruto killing Fumauchi. That's not gonna bring Kagura back. So it's not really gonna make anything better. In fact, it's gonna make things worse, because now it's gonna make the people Fumuushi loved, or the people who loved and cared about Fumuushi, is gonna make them hate Boruto and want to kill Boruto. So Boruto realized that cycle of hatred, and he was trying to tell them, he was trying to convey those feelings to Ikada and the Funita clan. So that's pretty much what happened with that. And Ikada basically tells Boruto towards the end of the episode that he wants Boruto to basically bring him Chojiro's head, and then he'll consider stopping. Right, or whatever. And then instead of doing that, Boruto says he can't do that. But instead of doing that, he says he offers Ikada his life, his own life. So yeah. Also, we did finally see Kawaki in this episode. He wasn't in the last episode for whatever reason, but he is. It seems like he's on the mobile fortress of the Funita clan, and it's kind of weird because we don't know where he got a boat from. He didn't come with Sarada, Boruto, and Mitsuki, and we don't know where he got a boat from. We don't know how he got on the warship, the Funita clan warship. Maybe they'll explain that. Maybe they'll show that in the next episode. Maybe they'll show us a flashback or whatever. But it's kind of weird that he just randomly popped up, and I don't know. I mean, well, technically he can fly. Some people forget that, but technically Kawaki can fly because he has Aotsutsuki chakra, and we actually did see him flying. Even without his karma seal activated, we seen him flying back like the first episode he was introduced in. I mean, not episode 1, because he was technically in episode 1, but the episode where we seen, the episode that started off the Kawaki arc pretty much. I think it was like in the 180s. Yeah, but I think it was like 186 or 187. But yeah, that episode where Kawaki first met Team 7, we seen him fly and stuff like that. So maybe he just flew over there. But anyway, so yeah. Overall, the theme of this episode and the dialogue and stuff like that was fantastic. The theme of this episode was very great. And I just, the whole cycle of hatred thing has been executed pretty well in this arc. And overall, this episode was pretty great. The dialogue was great. Ikada getting further explanations about, what led him down the bad path. That stuff was cool. Now, so overall, the episode was pretty great. In terms of writing, it was a pretty well-written episode. I'm interested to see what Ikada's abilities are. It seems like he is able to control the water with telekinesis. That's what it seems like. He's just able to basically control the water with his brain without waving any hand signs or doing any jutsu. So that seems to be what his ability is. But I want to see what his full power is. Maybe I think he might actually fight his father. And I think that might actually happen because I think Boruto might get through to him with his proposal to sacrifice himself. That might get through to Boruto. That might get through to Ikada. I don't think Ikada is going to be able to bring himself to kill Boruto. Now, even if Ikada does try to kill Boruto in the next episode, Boruto is not really going to die, obviously. I mean, worst case scenario, Momoshiki might, stop him, heal him or whatever. Even though I highly doubt that's going to happen. I highly doubt that's going to happen because of something that happened in the manga already. I'm not going to spoil things for the anime onlys. But because of something that happened in the manga, I highly doubt Momoshiki is going to be the one to save Boruto. So I think Ikada, even if he does try to kill Boruto, he's going to be unsuccessful. Boruto's not going to die. But based on what I've seen, I did see some, I didn't see any spoiler, synopsises. But I did see a couple of the pictures because they, it is some they do show the pictures ahead of time, like a couple of the screenshots of the episodes. And it does look like in the next episode, Mitsuki's going to use his first form of Sage Mode. And Sarada is going to use her regular Sharingan. And maybe she might unlock a third Tomoe in the next episode. So, the third Tomo on the Sharingan. So, yeah, I can't wait for next week's episode. Well, not next week's, tomorrow's episode because I'm actually recording this review late. So, yeah, the new episode is coming out tomorrow. I can't wait for it. And, yeah, overall, this arc is pretty interesting. And I'm liking the way it's going in terms of writing. So, overall, in terms of story, this was a 10 out of 10 episode. In terms of animation, this was a 10 out of 10 episode. I didn't notice any problems with the animation. But in terms of art, I'm going to give this episode a 9 out of 10. I'm taking off a full point because Ikada's height was very inconsistent throughout the episode. It was some points in the episode where he looked like he was around the same height as Boruto, maybe slightly taller, but it looked like he was basically around the same height as Boruto in some points throughout this episode. But then in other points throughout the episode, he looked like way taller than Boruto. So I know that Boruto, I know it's different people who work on the anime episodes. The episodes get outsourced to different studios and stuff like that. So I know it's not just one person drawing it, doing the animation for the episodes. So I don't know what was the problem here, but Ikada, his height was inconsistent throughout the episode. Like I said, some points in the episode he was taller than Boruto, a lot taller, or a decent amount taller. And then some points he looked like he was basically the same height as Boruto. And then at some points in the episode, like Sarada was looking at him and she had to look up at him because he looked a decent amount taller than Sarada, even though a couple seconds earlier he looked like he was about the same height as Boruto and Sarada in them. So very, very weird and inconsistency in terms of the artwork, in terms of how they drew Ikada in this episode. You know, his height was just very inconsistent. So I'm going to have to take off a full point for that. So, but anyways, basically the episode was a 10 out of 10. You know, obviously the most important thing is the story. And the only major problem I had with the episode was how inconsistent Ikada's height was. But other than that, I don't think I had any other major problems with the episode. So, well, the thing is, Kawaki, he did kind of appear out of nowhere, but I think they might explain that in the next episode. Or we can just assume that, you know, he just flew over there or whatever. But anyways, yeah, overall, this was a pretty great episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations yet again. 10 out of 10 episode. And I can't wait for the next one. So with that being said, if you guys liked the video, please drop a like. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and clicking that channel notification bell to be notified on all of my future videos. And drop a comment. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comment section below. Also, check out the community tab in order to vote on future videos that I do. I do have a poll on the community tab right now where you guys can vote on a possible future video that I might do. And also share the video all over the internet. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.
Every promise I've been praying for.